hope everybody is in. Go ahead and give me a shout out real quick while I gather myself, my thoughts. It is 7:07 in the morning here in Africa. Yes, Africa. I wished I had a little light. I'm gonna have to turn my other light on. Give me a shout out. Give me a shout out. As people come in, I'm gonna say good evening to a lot of you all. Good morning, Sylvia. Stanford. Let me know if y'all new to the channel too. If y'all just came to my channel, as I wait for more people to come in. I think this is a huge, important video that many people can definitely understand something that is going on. Hey, what's up, Barbara? Good morning or good evening. You from Cincinnati, Ohio? All righty then. Hey, Africa, what's up, bro? Hey, what's happening with you? Courtney Robinson. Okay, Courtney, you're new. How new are you? Yeah, let me know if y'all new here. And I hope that, for those who are new, I do some talks like that, and hopefully that y'all can get to know who I am at times. Yes, the new to the channel. Okay, Sylvia, all right. Am I interviewing the Bag family? No, I'm not interviewing the Bag family, but I definitely will be sharing and giving props to the Bag family. Man, if y'all didn't see Sweet Juicy Mama's video, Sweet Juicy Mama letting go of some of the bad past in Clarksville. Oh, okay, Sylvia, you're Stanford. Sylvia's, is that Stanford? Okay. Uh-oh, hold up. Hold on 1 second. What is that? I got a message here real quick. Hold on 1 second, family. Family. Yeah, it was buffering. It's buffering at the end. Stay with me here. What's up? Y'all stay with me here. I have to put some money on my minutes. So hold tight real quick, all right? I just got a message saying that I need to put on the interview in the Bag family. No, I'm not. This is a shout out to them and many more people, but not this. This is gonna, I'm sharing my story. I'm gonna share my story. So as people come back in, we'll go ahead and get started. Sometimes we don't understand what people are going through. And sometimes we don't understand why people make those decisions. But we'll get into that right there here shortly. Who's new to the channel? All that right there before I get started, because I really think I need some people to hear, and the yeah. So family, yeah, I'm just waiting for people to come in. I wanted to do this video because I was moved by Sweet Juicy Mama's video last night when I watched the video, and it brought up some past pains. And I want you all to, I brought up some past pains, and I'm gonna ask, my family, you all, if you all can just be patient with me this morning, okay? I'm gonna try to walk through this right here so y'all can understand why we as a people, some of us, have decided to leave America. It's an untold story. I might do a documentary on this, We're not talking about why are we leaving Africa. A lot of people ain't sharing why they have gone and what has America done to us. We're not talking about it. But when Sweet Juicy Mama did that video yesterday, I said, hot damn. You know what? That's a video that each and every one of us YouTubers or people out here who have been raped, robbed, pillaged, molested, murdered, the untold stories for those who needs to at least share why we left America. And yeah, so we're going to get in this. I really want to see if we can get to about another 30 people or so, to about 150, and then we can get everything rocking and rolling. Peace be unto you, family. And I ask that each of you are all, before I get started, I don't have moderators, okay? I don't have moderators because you're the moderator. You moderate yourself. Don't get caught up in the frivolous sidebar conversations, okay? There are people who are going to try to pull you out of what I'm saying. They're going to get you, that they're going to throw baits at you. This is what the trolls do. This is strengthening us. This is what the enemy has always done. So I'm gonna wait for about 15 more people to come in. And if you're distracted from what I'm saying, you're gonna miss it, y'all. You are gonna miss it. You are gonna miss the reasons why people are saying, get out of America. You're going to miss the very answer that you're looking for because you are going to be distracted going down the road. Now, I know attention deficit is an issue in our community. The ADHDs and all this right here, you know, we have been always taking off course by issues that happen and forget the main course. These are planted devices that the government rather, uses against us from rising up as people. Throw in a distraction and people will go the other way. So I'm gonna ask family, for the mature adults, if you could hold back your responses. Let me see responses. I'm talking about sidebars. And I appreciate y'all's comment, your kind words to me. I appreciate you all's motivating and encouraging me and stuff like that. But to talk about another country, some other subject matter on what I'm talking about, I'm talking to the adult people. So those who could be exposed when chats and these different comments come up about other subject matters, y'all be exposed. It's easy to tell who trolls are. There are those who have a lack of discipline, who don't know how to follow orders, who don't know how to follow instructions, who don't have the respect for other people. So as the chats go on in my household of this Go Black to Africa, as I invite my family in to sit down and take a meal off of what I'm about to say, then you're able to see who is the ones really don't even care and they're just out just to have conversation. Yeah. People are going to sit out there and have the conversation. So let me let 20 more people come in, and then we'll have 200 people. And then I'm gonna start on this, family. I'm gonna start on this. And I know we love getting together as people. I know we're meeting people from all different places of the world. You're like, whoa, yo, you're from here, this and that. And then these conversations start and stuff like that. But for those who are interested, sit tight. I want to share with y'all this Go Black to Africa. Me, man, not your boy. And what America tried to destroy me. Not only me, family, it's destroyed a lot of us. So let me get started here, okay? Let me get started. O'Shea Duke Jackson, hey, what's up, brother? I appreciate you. I appreciate you. You're doing great work, man. Keep doing what you're doing, Hey, we know that sometimes as YouTubers, people don't understand when we coming off saying things and trying to give content and sometimes, people feel like we're banging on other people. We put information out there, man. Hey, you can take it however way you can. Appreciate that giving. All right, family, we're there. Let's go into this right here. Let me start right here. This is your man, not your boy. Go Black to Africa. For those who really don't know me, and I've seen there's new people to this channel, there's a reason why I say that. This is your man, not your boy. we have lived, my dad and my granddad and them, in their times in the 40s, in the 30s. My granddad was in the 30s. I just had an uncle who passed just a few weeks ago, who was 107 years old. I had a great opportunity to interview him a couple years, 2 years ago. Thank you, Uni, for that finance giving. Hey, I'm going to give thanks to those for as the giving later, because I don't want to be interrupted. I know many people are getting prepared for their evening or wherever they may, and I don't want to be interrupted, but I appreciate each and every one of you all giving. And I'll give a shout out afterwards. My granddad, my great uncle, passed away at 107 years old. He told me some stories, and he shared his stories, how it was as growing up in white America back in those days. My granddad, I had an awesome, he came to visit me. He was 80, my granddad was 88 years old when he came to visit me when I was living in Tennessee. And, you know, I kind of grew up in and out of my granddad's life, but he played a very powerful time in my life because I actually lived with my granddad when I was a little kid for a stint of time and lived right behind my grandmom and granddad's house. And so I have those fond memories of a black man. I have the fond memories of a black man, of a granddad, teaching, pouring into me some things. And though he was quiet at times and he would sit and just look at you, you know, I learned a lot from him in a sense, but he came to visit me. And then I had my dad. I'm going to get to my story. Why I say that. I'm your man, you're not your boy. My dad, he was he was a powerful impact in my life, a black man. There was a day, and for you all who are young and those who don't even know about American history, we were called boys as black men. Boy, give me my thing over here. Boy, run over there to the store. Hey, boy, who you looking at? Hey, boy, don't you dare strong-eye me. Don't you corner-eye me. Hey, boy. My dad, my granddad told me there was a day when you walk down the street, and if a white man felt as though he wanted to try to use his little supremacy, little attitude, and you stand a white man down, that could cost you your life. My dad used to tell us, and my mom used to tell us, because the time had changed, when you walk down the street, you hold your head up. You never drop your head. Never drop your head to a white man. Never drop your head to no man. There is nobody greater than who you are, and yet you're not greater than nobody. This boy exists today. This boy, meaning the word, exists today in Africa. They refer to African grown men as boys, and it freaking pisses me off. It pisses me off because it brings up a past pain. It does. And I correct every black person, even Americans who come here and refer to the African as boys because they've been here for a while. I'm like, what the hell you doing? Yo, man, nah. Nah, we don't call men boys. I've seen it. I've seen it. Some Americans who have been here, you know, who's got their servants or their cleaners or whatever. Boys' quarters is what they call them. Yeah, you have your boys' quarters. African call each other ones boys, you know, when they got their workers working. Hey, boy. I correct every one of them. We got daggone men. And I had to live through that time and period. I'm 54 years old. For those who don't know, I know I look a little younger in my age. I know you didn't know. That's all right. But I want to share some things with you because sweet juicy mama, she had to peel open that wound when she was back there in Clarksville, Tennessee. I'm very familiar with Clarksville, Tennessee. I've been there. I lived in Nashville area for 11 years. 11 years. From 2004, when I retired from the military, I moved my family down to Spring Hill, Tennessee, about 30 miles south of Nashville. So I understand what Sweet Juicy Mom is saying, because that's a redneck area, Clarksville up there. They got the Army base up there, but it's a redneck area. And there's a lot of redneck areas in America. You step out of a city, you've stepped into the redneck of the USA. It's just how it is. The good old boy network. It exists. And when you're in the city, you know, I said this right here. The whites have changed, not all whites, okay? Because I want to make sure that, and you've heard my videos, I'm not banging on all white people, but there's a majority. But I'm banging on all white system. The white American system is against a black man. And a lot of you all don't understand the pains we've walked through. And to hear sweet, juicy mama holding back the tears, man, wow. Because you don't know. You don't know what we go through. Y'all ain't, all these Africans going to America, y'all don't have a clue what we went through. Y'all young generation, y'all don't have a clue what we went through. And then you want to bang on us talking about y'all running away from America, y'all leaving, and y'all just quitting and this and that. Nah, family, nah. Let me get my shoe so you can walk in it. Let me go over here. Hold on 1 second. Until you walk in this, you will never understand what a man went through. You will never understand the pains that we had to go through as black men. You will never understand how it was and how it is today. What we going through is a total different experience. It's covertly done today. Back in the day, it was overt. It was open. You know how many times that I had to fight. I fought sound like Oprah Winfrey show now. I fought all my life, you know, but I did. America has destroyed us, family. It has killed us. And I'm going to get into this story because what Sweet Juicy Mama was sharing was the fact that what they did to her and Rick. Rick, I love you more, brother. Man. She brought up some pains, man, through that court system. She brought up, man, some memories. I remember my granddad and them used to tell me, my dad and them, a court system is not made for a black man. That court system has killed many a man. And they call it the justice system. Every time I went in that court system, I cringed. I didn't know if I would see the day of light. I didn't know whether or not I would see my family. Y'all, if y'all don't even know, some of y'all haven't even faced that judicial system. If you're gonna walk in there and you like, am I ever gonna see daylight? Am I see my family again? Why? Because the history has shown innocent black men have been hung. Innocent by the words of a white woman or a white man. Innocent. When my mama had to sit there and tell me, son, when you go out there in the streets and them cops stop you, son, you better zip your mouth. You better be quiet. They stop you on the back road, they'll kill you and leave you and throw you in the damn field. This is the era. I'm only 54, y'all. This was just yesterday. And it still goes on. And we still ignore it. We ignore it. They shoot another black person. Another black man getting released from prison, found that he was innocent, did 30, 40 years. What do they give him? 0. And act like he's supposed to start his life over again. What about his family members, his children who went fatherless, husbandless, brotherless, uncle-less? And they act like it's nothing. And then we're so numb to it that we're like, oh yeah, and we just go on by the day. And then when people sit here telling the story, we can't get it. Sweet Juicy Mama and Rick, because I know you more now. Rick, I love you, man. When Rick says, black man, black woman, black baby, y'all don't know what he's talking about. A lot don't. When I heard her story and they're saying that Rick got arrested trying to hold a family down, and they came into his household and took his child, and they were seeking to try to get help for their own child. And I don't want to tell their story. Go to their channel and listen to the story. But how they come in and then try to destroy a black man, bring him down, to try to put him in jail and throw all these accusations against him. Remove a black man out of the picture, and then you have fatherless children, and it keeps the black people in the hood. So let me get on to my story, because Sweet Juicy Mama done open up my past that I think y'all need to share. Y'all need to understand why I can't go back to America. Let me say this right here. Much respect to Sweet Juicy Mama. She's a true black woman. She stood by her black man and supported her black man. I respect her. And you know what? My wife left me to go back to America. Not leave me. We're still married, happily married. She left because she went back home. She got obligations. You know, I think she should be here. But with respect, hey, she's got to do what she's got to do. Because I'm the type that believes everybody should have the right to do what they want to do in life. But my wife don't understand my story. She don't know my story. Sweet Juicy Mama walked through all these years with Rick. I've only been married to my wife 5 years. My wife have not seen the pains and the agony that America has screwed me. So I understand. But Sweet Juicy Mama, she been with Rick all these years and seen the pain her husband went through being locked up. And they'll tell you, they had to cut some corners in life to be able to try to survive when there's a system that's trying to destroy you. I hope my wife is watching. I think she's asleep though, because I reached out to her and she didn't answer, but I think she's asleep. But my own wife, she doesn't understand my pain. She does not know what has really, she's heard my story, but she hasn't looked in my eyes and watched me cry during that time. She hasn't. So we're talking about this court system. Juicy Mama was sharing about the court system and about a child taken out of their household and how Rick was put in jail off the BS that the court system generated against him in order to break up a family. And let me say this right here, black women, you have to understand, every time you involve the system, you call the system to your house, you call the police to your house, you just better be prepared. You might lose your kids, you might lose your husband, you might get your kids killed. You might get your husbands killed. Watch the videos. How many times we call, I watched this poor sister who called the police because her son, black family, her son was autistic and he was acting erratic. And the cops get there and shot and killed him. You better believe when you call them cops to your house, the percentage of shot going off is great. When you call a judicial system that is against black men, I don't know how to tell people that America hates a black man. They fret a black man. They fear a black man. They're afraid of a black man. Because they see really how brilliant we are. They know that we have the potential to take their jobs. But they continues to keep us down, bring us in, be the right-hand man, and then we keep getting them promoted and pay raises and all that there. But this judicial system, let me let you tell my story. I told my story this right here. I didn't go all into this story. I went around it when telling my story back in the day, taking the mask off. But let me share you right here. Why I'm gonna share this story because of Sweet Juicy Mama's story. Dealing with this judicial system and what sisters can get caught up in, believing this bull crap and don't realize what the system is using them to keep the brother locked up or out of the picture of the family. I have a son. He's 32 years old. And I won't give too much information and all that right there about him. But we're connected. We have a relationship and all that right there. He should be here with me, but he's got some things he's got to deal with, and he said he wants to come over here. He's the one who wants to shoot my videos and stuff like that because he's a videographer and loves that stuff, doing that stuff. Back in 1988, my son was born. And when my son was born, you know, I was a single man back there. Wasn't married to his mom, and I was a wild child. I was a wild cat in the streets. But my son came about, and I took on a responsibility to be the father for my child. Why? Because my dad was partly there for us, but then he left when I was 16 years old, and it hurt our family. And he didn't even realize what he did until years later when he was able to have conversations with us individually, and then our relationship just blossomed. But he chose to make a decision to leave the household that had an impact on all of us. And I will say this to every black man out there. If you got a child, go get him. Apologize, whatever. Stay in your life. Stay in the life of your child. Anyway, my son's born. And I remember the hurt and pain I went through when my dad left. And I said, I could never do that to my child. So my son was born, and there was a whole lot of situations that went on. He was born, when my son's mother got pregnant, her mother got angry and got mad, and she hated me and all that stuff there. Rightfully so, you know. I understood, you know, hey, this joker done got my daughter pregnant, and she was the one that was probably going to be the golden child to get out and, you know, go into further education, whatever. But I stood up like a man, and I said, I'm going to take care of my child. And of course, the mother was in the grandmother, my son's grandmother was really in the way of me trying to be a dad to my son. And she was in the ear of my son's mother. So there was this big issue with that. And so my son was kind of kept away from me. And so I had to go through the judicial system to try to be involved in my son's life. So my son was born. I want to spend time with my son. I want to get in the mix and be a father of my son. And as I'm showing the interest, there becomes more resistance. And they want to keep me away because it was the only pain that they knew that they can use against me was my son, because it hurt me that I want to be in my son's life. So they use that as a means of keeping him away from me. Now, let me fast forward a little bit, because now a year goes by, right? And, you know, I had to plead with her, my son's mother, you know, let me just see him. Let me just this and that. So she every now and then would let me just see him, right? I could come by and I could see him. But she wouldn't let me take him anywhere, you know? He was still a young baby, and she wouldn't let me take him. I can just come by and see him every now and then, you know, hold him, give him a kiss, whatever. And it was like, okay, that's enough. Bye. See you later. So I was out the picture. He turned 1 year old, and you know, you see your son. This is your son. This is your blood, you know, and I'm like a stranger to him. And because of every time I came to visit and they live with the grandmother would give me a hard way to go. You know how it is, you know. She rah, 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 you know, you just get in here, look at it, get off my property, all this just, and so my son was feeding into it. So I was the boogeyman. I was the bad man. Every time I showed up, now all of a sudden my son's feeding off of her energy, and then he began to just be like, I don't wanna. It was crazy. So the only thing I could do was try to get visitation. So I hired a lawyer and turned around and had my attorney. I told my attorney, I said, look, I want visitation with my son. You know, I barely could see him. I can't really spend, you know, I can't even take him, you know, and my mom's and my family wanted to see him, you know, and I'm like, I can't get him, you know, and because my folks was up in Ohio and I'm down in South Carolina. And so it was that, you know, man, what do I do? You know, my folks want to see him and I want to see him. So I hired an attorney and I said, my attorney said, okay, all right, well, you know, we'll go ahead and, you know, see if we can get visitation. I said, well, there's three things I want. I said, I don't have any problem paying child support for my son. That's number one. Number two, I want my son to have my last name. Number three, I want to claim him for dependents, you know? And he was like, okay, all right, hey, we'll submit the paperwork and all that right there. He said, but Mr. Wiggins, now this is back in 1988. He said, Mr. Wiggins, okay, we'll submit the paperwork. We'll go ahead and we'll argue your case and all that right there. But I just want to let you know, these court system, man, he was a black attorney too. The court system for a black man and all this right here, and this is down in South Carolina. For the black man, the only thing we do is wish for the best. And we're going to put your request in. We get to court, family. We get there in court and everything. And everybody stay with me for those who coming in. Sweet Jesus Mama did this video of why she hate white people and what the judicial system did to her and Rick, which brought me back to my issues in court. So we submit the paperwork to the court. And I never forget appearing in that court system. And we get there and everything. You got to go through these formalities and all that right there, you know, okay, let's set the court date and all that stuff right there. Got to come back again and all that right there. We come back for the final decision of what's this whole thing that the judge wants to, whether he's going to grant me my request or not. I wanted my son to have my last name. I wanted visitation. I wanted to establish child support. And I wanted to go ahead and claim my son as a dependent. Because I was in the military and my son can get the benefits. So, get to the judge and everything. And this is funny. This is the mindset of the judicial system, y'all. We walk in there and there's the white judge. All rise, judge such and such is entering into the court system. We rise and everything. He looks over the paperwork and he says my last name versus her last name. So he says, all right, so, okay, child support, this and that. Okay, all right. The judge looks over at her as she had my last name. It was me versus her. So he says, okay, all right. So he looked through real quick and he says, okay, all right. So he refers to her as my last name and says that, you know, okay, so you want to establish child support, this and that. My attorney stands up and says, Your Honor, hold up, no. My client is who's versing her. And the judge says, and he looks at me and he says, oh, you want to establish child support? This is the first one on me. Okay, all right. This is the mindset of that a black man can't take a woman to court to establish child support, have his child's last name and all that. It floored the judge. He sits back in his chair. He said, okay. He had a smile on his face and he says, okay. And he looked at it and he looking at me and he looking at her. And then he said, okay, Mister, he wants to go ahead and establish this, that, this, and that, this, and that. And he asked my attorney a few questions. He asked her attorney a few questions, and he wanted to know why she objected. Why? Why do you? Why? Because she was arguing she did not want me to have visitation, and he was like, why not? Is he unfit? Is he abusive? Is he on drugs? Give me something, please, Mrs. Such and Such. She couldn't. She just felt that, hey, he deserves to be with her. Well, this judge, he scratched his head and all that right there, and he granted me. He granted me my request. Now that's favorable. Now one would say, wow, why you haven't, what would you say bad about the judicial system when you were granted what you wanted? Well, family, it was the one thing was that the fact that we're talking about now the judicial system, how it's comprised of, that automatically they have these assumptions. They have these assumptions that black men don't care for their child. Black men, ain't paying child support, don't want to pay child support, and that's not all the case. But that right there was a grant that he could not argue because my attorney said he really had no leg to stand on, really. Because it was all standing upon what your son's mom would say. So anyway, let's get down to the issue of the judicial system. That was the background of how I was my son and all that right there. So anyway, 5 years go by. My son's mother decides to join the military. She decides to join the military right now. This was been up and down, back and forth of arguing and stuff. It was still issues of me trying to pick my son up for visitation. I had to call the police to the house so that they would go ahead and, this is 1980. This was from between 1988 and 1992. Brother had to call the police because she would not release my son. They would come and say, and I would show my court paperwork, and they would like, you have to release your son to him. And it was just an ongoing just drama. Anyway, she joins the military and everything. And I had a last conversation because somebody told me, because I was up in Washington, D.C. now. Somebody had given me a call and said, hey, yeah, I hear that your son's mom, man, going to the military. And I was like, what? So I called her up. I finally found her number and everything, called her up, because I was back and forth with the visitation with my son. I'm going from D.C. down visit my son. Boy, that was a long drive too. 8-hour drive back and forth every other weekend. She winds up, and I just want to say to sisters, do not fight against a man and use your child against the man because he's not with you. And that was her biggest issue, was because she has shared that with me. Why can't we be together instead of you out here with some other woman, whatever, this and that? Because me and her was never married, and I was a player back then. I wasn't trying to be in no relationships. I was just out there. I was young, 20, 21 years old, and I wasn't trying to hear that. But she wanted me and wanted us as a network. I wasn't there. I was young and dumb. Anyway, I wound up calling her up, finding out that she was going in the military. She secretly signed up without even my knowledge. Well, if you join a military family and you have any dependents, you can't enter in. You have to give up custody of your child to somebody. Well, the first person in line was me, your man, not your boy. Because I am the parent of the child, and my son has my last name. I'm paying child support. So what happens is that she lies. She puts up this paperwork together, submits it to court, and I didn't even know. When she went in, and what I'm saying is that I heard she was going in the military. Didn't know when she was going in the military. But I told her, well, if you go in, I get the rights, because I was already in the military. So if you go in, I have rights to my child. Well, yeah. She agreed to all that stuff. Well, I know you do, and all that stuff right there. Well, a couple months go by, because I was unable to go down there back and forth because I had some issues going on with my military. I had some obligation to take care of my military, and so I was still talking to my son on the phone. But little do I know, she had left to go into the military. Got word that she was gone. I'm like, what? For real? She's gone. So I called up the same attorney who represented me 5 years ago when I got visitation for my son, all this other things, and turn around, got back into court. Because I told my attorney, I said, she left the military. She left for the military. And she, somebody's got custody of my son. So he said, let me do some research. Let me go ahead and petition the court. He wound up petitioning the court, and come to find out, and here goes the court system again. Because the court system don't like black men, and they believe black men don't love their babies, and black men don't want to be part of their thing, part of their children's lives. My son's mother and grandmother put together a lie. Because when you're giving up custody of your child, there are some questionnaires that you have to be able to fill out. And so the questions that my attorney had gotten the paperwork that were asked was, where is the father of the child? Does the father care for the child? Has the father ever been in the child's life? These were questions that were asked, and they lied to the court and said the father never paid child support for the child. The father never cared for the child. The father was never active with the child. All these lies. They turned around. The court system turned around and gave custody to the grandmother. Now, when I had got there to see my attorney, I went by to go see my son. And the grandmother opens up the door and she laughs at me. And she's like, get off my property, and shows me the paperwork. I got custody of your son. So I was like, oh, so that's when I went over to my attorney, told my attorney, he petitioned the court, get the paperwork back to find out. Now, this is the mindset of the court system, to keep a brother out of a picture. They could have easily checked the court system to see that I took her to court 5 years prior. But why did they not do that? Because a black man ain't no good in America. They think black men don't care for children, pay for their children, don't have no interest for their children. And they want to make sure that they break it all up. But my son's mother is partly to blame in that. That's why I say to y'all sisters, you cannot be friends with the court system to try to keep a black man from being a father of his child. You become now a pawn for the court system. You know, one of the sad things, well, one of the codes in the hood is snitches get stitches. It is amazing of the sisters who snitch on brothers. Now, I ain't saying some don't deserve. If you getting assaulted and battered and bruised up and all that stuff right there, I understand that. But you want to run to the court system and sit here and try to keep the father of your child out of his life because you carrying some bitterness, because he don't want to be with you, or he done moved on with some other woman or married. You only hurting your child. You hurting him if he's really active, because the more love a man shows towards his child, the bitter women are going to be the ones who try to keep him out of the child's life. Why? Because it's the only source they know how to do for him to feel the pain that she's going through. And I understand that. It took me some years to understand that. But it doesn't make it right. Now let me get on to the story of how Sweet Juicy Mama and Rick has gained such a high respect. And I understand now why they hate, why they are so happy where they are, because of the history of this freaking American system that have raped, robbed, pillaged, murdered us left and right to this day. I go through the court system and all that right there. They turn around and said, oh, hold up, okay, wow, there's a mistake that was made. So I had to bring my documents. I had to bring my LES, leave and earning statement to show I had taken out of every month child support sent to my child for 5 years, didn't miss a payment. I show pictures of me and my son together when I got him over the weekends and where we're at festivities and stuff to show I was active in my son's life. I had to prove all this various things and establish all this. I had to jump through the hoops and all that right there when they already had the goddamn paperwork to show that I took her to court to establish child support, to establish visitation, for my son to have my last name. They had all that in the court system. But they wanted me to come back to the court. You got to prove all this stuff. And I did it. Well, I got custody of my son. Hooray! The happiest day of my life. I got custody of my son. But before that, the court system wanted me to be able to slowly, gradually get my son into the environment that I lived. Because I was up in Washington, D.C., going from Washington, D.C. to South Carolina. So check this out, family. Every other weekend, I had to drive to, every other week, I had to drive to South Carolina, pick my son up, bring him back. He would stay with me for 3 days. Turn around, drive all the way back, drop him off, and I had to come back. Now, I'm in the military, and I had work I had to do. So I'm dropping, boom, back and forth. I had to do that for 3 months, right? And then they wanted, then you increased it, right? Go to 3 days, 5 days, then 7 days, right? And I'm back and forth, and I didn't miss one because I want to show them. Then I didn't want to give them any excuse of keep my son away from me. Back and forth, 3 months, boom, boom, back and forth. And you talking about, brother, 8 hours drive, boom, drop off, 8 hours back. Because I had to get back to work. And my job and work, they work with me, but I had to do that, back and forth. Finally, the court granted me custody of my son. Custody of my son and all that right there. And boy, was that hell with the grandmom getting my son, and she held on to him screaming and crying and, and my son's crying and screaming and all that. It was a mess. Get my son up to there. I roll him in school. He's 5 years old, kindergarten and all that right there. I'm a single dad now. Everything's great. But then all of a sudden, now my son's mom's already in the military. She's stationed over in Germany. I'm in Washington, D.C. Turn around, that she calls me and asks me, my mother wants to see Don. Could you please just let him just see my mom? She misses him dearly and all that there. Now this was I had him about 4 or 5 months. Okay, cool. All right. I drive down there, and I didn't want to do it, family. I didn't want to do it, but I did. I drop him off and everything right there. Come back to it was a weekend. She stayed overnight. He stayed overnight. Come back, and of course she didn't want to release him. I had to call the cops. Cops had to come over there. I get him, and so I told his mother about it, and she was just like, I know, she just misses him and loves him. Anyway, I said, I'd be damned if I do that again. So anyway, the year goes by, summertime comes. Now, the mother comes home on leave and then turns around and requests that she have him for the summer. I'm like, well, how are you gonna have him for the summer? You in the military. Well, I mean, I'm going home for 30 days and I want to have him for 30 days. Okay, cool. All right. Well, I can't argue against that because she did have visitation in the paperwork. Get him for the summer. And these jokers, boy, here we go. Here comes the part that where Sweet Juicy Mama, and them story had opened up them past pains, wounds, what I had to go through back in the day. So, drop him off and everything. After 30 days, she had to go back. But then she was begging and pleading with me. Well, can you come pick him up, let him spend another, couple of weeks with my mom, this and that. And I'm like, I don't want to go through all that, what she put me through. I don't want to go to, no, she promised she's going to release him, and I guarantee you she's going to release him, all that right there. He stays a few weeks and all that right there. It was time for me to pick him up. I go down and pick my son up. Grandma opens the door up with a piece of paper saying that she temporarily has custody of him. I go to the same attorney. I go and he petitions the court to figure out how does she has temporary custody. These jokers turn around and put abuse charges against me. They had pictures with 3 marks on my son Buck saying that I abused my son. Turn around. My attorney made a grip of money off of me. A grip of money. He loved to see me come. It was just his 3rd time representing me. Turn around. Here I am, and I got to fight now against abuse charges. Not only that, they got my son saying I had abused him, that I had whipped him with this, that, hit him, did all these things. So now I'm in the military. Now she's in the military. And because of that now, she used that as a means to get out the military, as a means of distress, because her son was abused by the father, and which I know she didn't like the military. She was in the army. She wasn't built for it. But pimped me to use this means, got out the military to come back saying I abused my son. Now I am the bad guy in the I's court. I sit there now and go to a prelim hearing on this. Nobody never contacted me. Nobody contacted me in DC when this paperwork went through at all. But because of my son's mother, who was in the military and got out on whatever she got out on because I was supposedly abusive towards her son and she couldn't function and all that right there, the Army contacted the Air Force. The Air Force then put charges against me for abuse against a minor. Now I'm dealing with the Air Force of charges because, you know, the military, for those who don't know, military has their own judicial system, the Uniform Code of Military Justice. They have their own court system. They have their own, all that, attorneys, all that. When military people mess up, they sit there in that judicial, you have your judicial system separate. I got 2 court systems I got to deal with. And these white jokers up there are licking their chops to take down a brother. I got to deal with South Carolina and I got to deal with DC in the military. So the military said, we're going to sit tight to see the outcome of the civilian court. Then we will go ahead and decide what we're going to do with old Sarge over here. Now, have you, family, to even make matters worse, I had got promoted to E6. I got promoted to E6, and with the time that I got promoted was very fast time. I had made E6 in 8 years. The average time to make E6 in the Air Force was about 13 years. Somebody fact checked me on that. Back then, it was 13 years to make E6. I made it in 8 years, put it in I was supposed to put it on a year later because you got to wait. I made it so early. Everybody else who's been in longer than you, they put it on first and they work it all the way down to the person who had the least amount of time. That promotion, that court system, wait on the court. It took a whole year of back and forth in that court system. My son was in with the grandmother and them for that whole entire year. Now, showing up back to court, I had to sit here and try to defend that I was not abusive, that I did not abuse my son. I had to get statements from my son's babysitter. I had to get statements from those who were around my son, his school teacher, all these things I had to provide to try to defend my innocence. The only thing was, they got my son saying that I did all these horrific things to him. So brother, now, basically, I got my witnesses and the letters and all this stuff here that I'm providing to the court system, and it takes a year. And it comes all the way down to go to court system. We go to the court. I'm standing before this white judge. She's on one side, I'm sitting on the other. The judge looks at my files. He's considering her statements and also what my son has said. And the judge said, you know, this is a tough case, but I want to call the son behind in the back of my chambers, and I want to just talk to the son. My attorney goes back there, and I was not allowed to go back there. I come back in, and the judge, he decides that in the best interest of my son, it would be best, being that he was there a year already with the grandmother and the mother, for him to remain with them. Lost my son. Crazy. That quick. So I asked my attorney, what happened back there? He said, he asked your son a couple questions. He asked him, he said, are you afraid of your dad? No. You know, do you love your dad? Yes. Do you think your dad loved you? Yes. Who do you want to live with? My grandma. And my mom. Take a young boy from his daddy. This is a system by two sisters who, because of a system, hate a black man so much that the white system was like, oh yes, we want to keep the black family dysfunctional. Do we want another powerful black man raised up in this world to be a threat against us? Hell to the no. Keep him with them women and keep him, demasculinize that black man and keep him from rising up, being a threat against us. Why would we not put him back in their hands? So, lost my son to a system who didn't give a damn. That the first time I took her to court to establish visitation rights, to establish to pay for child support, for my son to have my last name and all that right there. They didn't want to give him that, but they had no choice, as my attorney said, unless his mother could give a reason why that I shouldn't be paying child support, that I shouldn't be having visitation and all that there. They granted that. Why? Because the system knew they don't want to be paying for a child, so they're going to grant me to pay child support. What court system would deny me to pay child support? Oh, to have his last name? Give him the last name. Why? That just even substantiates the fact that we can find out who the daddy is if he do stop paying child support. The court system didn't do me no damn favors, just awarding me that. Let him have his visitation to visit it. But for a father to raise a black man, a black child, oh, hell no, we don't want that. No, nah, no, we don't want that. But that wasn't the end of my pain, because that system was over with. I had to face the military now. Now, I told y'all, I had got promoted. Now, because it took a whole year getting into the system and all that right there down in South Carolina to get my case through so I can just sit here and try to get my son, I thought it was maliciously done, that they just slow rolled that whole case so that they could just say the child has been adjusted to the environment of the grandmother and the mother that would just keep him there. But here was the kicker. My attorney told me they did you wrong, because by law, your son was living with you in D.C. in a total different jurisdiction. It was up to the court system to go ahead They were supposed to turn that whole case up. He told me this even before that you should not be in a South Carolina court system. If the abuse happened in Washington, D.C., they need to take you to court up in Washington, D.C. And I said, well, what can I do? And he said, well, we can fight it. But Mr. It's going to cost you this amount to even get it rolling. I mean, you can find your attorney up there and try to take on this case, but this is how much it's going to cost you. $30,000. Back then, now, I didn't know what I knew. I didn't know what I know. I didn't have no $30,000 to fight in a system to try to get my son into the system that where he was living. I just couldn't. And the other thing, y'all, I was wore out spiritually, mentally, and physically running up and down that highway. I exhausted so much energy. I exhausted so much time. It wore me out. But here was the kicker. I still had to face the military court system because they were waiting on what was going to go on in the civilian court system. So here was the results. Boom. Child was left in the custody of the grandmother and the mother. This was transpired. Now, in the military, they have their own judicial system. And they got attorneys. So I went to the attorney. Now, the military also got involved and sent investigators down to investigate and to interview my son. Now, like I said before, I am up against my son, who, of course, he was 6 then, who was being put all this information in to say that my daddy, he beat me with this, beat me with that, this and that. So the attorney in the military who I went to, they got, like public defenders and everything, got to go sit there. And so I told him, I want to fight this because what happened was my promotion, I was up on promotion. And because of these allegations, my commander called me in and said, hey, okay, you have accusations against your son who said that you had abused him. There was things in the court system. We see in the court system that these allegations that were brought on by the mother and the grandmother, but your son is saying this right here. We can't overlook that. We're going to have to take some action. So what they did, my commander did, was he gave me an Article 15 for unbecoming of an NCO and for the abuse of a dependent. Now, the UCMJ, all right, Uniform Code of Military Justice, I can fight it. I can appeal his decision. I can appeal my commander's decision. But the other thing is that what the military wants to do is that's what they did was they gave me the Article 15 as a punishment. But in that Article 15, because I had a line number waiting on my promotion, and I had to wait to put my rank on, when I got that Article 15, it automatically canceled out my promotion. That means I lost my promotion. And that destroyed me. It destroyed me. Because I worked my tail off for promotion, and you got to go test for it, and then you got to do all these things, and I got it early. But because of the Article 15, it took away that. I wanted to fight the Article 15, and this is what they told me. They said, Sergeant, they broke out the old book, opened up the old Uniform Code of Military Justice. You can fight it, and you can take it to court. But we advise you to take the Article 15, which your commander gave you, as a means of punishment. I'm like, yeah, but I lost my strike. I want my promotion. Well, you can always retest the next year. At least you can just retest. And I'm like, I worked my tail off. So they was like, you can fight it. So they opened up the book. And he told me, he said, I understand, and you saying you're innocent, you never did it, you know, and we see your history with her. I mean, and I don't know why your commander didn't even see, because I presented all this history to my commander, saying, this is what I've done and dealt with her over the years. This is me calling the cops, this is me taking her to court, this is her lying to the courts, saying that my whereabouts is unknown, and she gave the custody to the grandmother, all that. This is my history, this is what she did. I'm falsely accused. But these white motherfuckers didn't give a dang. They didn't care. Only they wanted to care was to keep a brother down. So the lawyer told me, you can fight it if you want, but this is what you're up against. For every strike that your son said that you whipped him, you're facing 3 years. For every strike. And they said, Sergeant, we don't know how many times your son gonna say that. Number two, in our experience, juries listen to children. And this is what you're up against. So you can go ahead and take this to court, but this is what you're gonna be facing. Family, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? When you know he's telling you, in their experience, people will listen to an innocent child. And I'm like, well, would they consider the history of what I've been dealing with her? The lies that I took her to court the first time, second time, they lied against me. Now I had to take her to court the second time. And then now all of a sudden, can't they just see a track history? Yeah, they could, but then they couldn't. It's up to you if you want to take that chance or not. That was the first time, family, that I understood why brothers, when they hit the court system, and I could not understand, why would you admit to something you didn't do, but yet you're facing 15, 20 years, and you say, I did it if you got to do 3, 4 years? It's the first time I finally understood how a person can admit to do something to get the less amount of time. And that is a bad feeling and a bad situation. Shout out to my brothers who had to deal with that. Shout out to my brothers who were falsely accused, who was up in a judicial system, who had to take the smaller time because you were afraid of the larger time. I never understood that because it didn't make sense to me. Why would you ever admit to doing something you never did? I finally understood it. When they give you the times on some stuff and you thinking, shit, I would have to do 3 years for every strike that they said my son said. And what do you think my son's mother and grandmother gonna say in his head? And I was already fake. He had 3 marks on him, and I'm like, them jokers whipped him or put whips on him just to get him back. I knew I was facing, this is what the attorney said, there are 3 marks on him. Then they had pictures on his buttocks. That's 9 years right there off the bat. So your man fell into depression. I told this story right here already, the one to take off the mask. For those who a lot of y'all probably wasn't, because I didn't have many subscribers and people on my channel. You're looking at the man who almost killed himself. The man who stood in the living room and cried out and said, if there's a God, please help me. I planned already to take my life. I got so low. I got so worn down. Man, it wore me down dealing with this evil negativity. This is why I try to share with you all about now. I know how to deal with negativity because negativity almost took a brother out. I lost my mind, y'all. I was sitting in my living room about to blow my god daggone brains out. I couldn't take it no more. My military career basically was over. I lost my son. And here I am out here like, damn, drinking myself crazy that whole year while he was gone, waiting on the court case. And then because I got promoted, and I had to wait to put my promotion on. Then you got everybody around, walking around base. Man, I thought you got promoted. Why aren't you stripe on this and that? And then you like, you don't even want to know. I was supposed to be the supervisor in my section when I got promoted. Another guy became my supervisor. Guess who you think that was? So now, your man, not your boy, cried on his knees in the living room, about to take his life. I didn't go to church, was never raised in church. Only thing I knew about God was, now I lay me down to sleep. I pray my Lord the soul to keep. If I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. Y'all remember that? That's all I knew. And that's still ingrained in me. I'm surprised I still remember that. But I'm sitting in my living room, and all I said is, if there's a God, crying, please help me. Family, at that moment, there was a presence I ain't never felt in my life. I ain't never experienced in my life. There was an experience there in my living room that a peace, every time I share this story with people, I just cannot describe it. All I know was something entered me and took out that heavy burden and pain. It was amazing, y'all. It was amazing. And when it hit me, it changed me. I stood up, and that day forward, I became a believer in the Creator. I stopped at drinking. I stopped at running the streets for the women, and I got myself together. I got married, and I changed my life. I got into the church. That's all I knew direction I knew to go. And when I got in that church, I went hard. I wasn't like these Christians who don't read their Bible. I was in this thing, and I saw things and messages and stuff that I ain't never saw, because I lived a certain life. I was in the darkness over here. Over here, I found some light, because all I knew was that presence in that living room. How that happened, I can't describe. And what fell on me and what lifted off of me, I said, my God. I got into church. That's why I tell family now, I graduated church. You know, I went on that road. I went hard because I knew the experience I had, it was real. And when I got into church, I was one of them that my nose was in it. I know that Bible. Very few people can go toe to toe with me on that Bible, because my nose was in it. Chapter after chapter, after verse after verse, after study after study after study. I was so moved I went to school for it. Got my degree in biblical studies, theologies. But what happened, check this out. Check this out, y'all. You see, what the white man will try to do and destroy you, the Creator is there to clean that shit up. If your heart is right. And this was what happened, family. I lost my stripe. I lost my position as becoming the NCOIC of the section. Now I got to answer to somebody else. And I put the appeal in of the commander's decision, because you can appeal a decision. Because I only had two options. I can appeal the commander's decision, or I can take it to court. I took the Article 15 instead of going to court. The Article 15 was a punishment that, I didn't mention. In that punishment was that he took 3 months of a third of my pay. But because I did not put I didn't have my stripe on yet, I was waiting on my stripe because they have a thing that they call a line number. You have to wait till your number comes up, then you're able to put it on. Every month, first of the month, they have these numbers that come out. Okay, those people between this number and that number, y'all put your stripe on. Those got promoted. My line number didn't come up. But when you get an Article 15 of any type of judiciary punishment, if you got a promotion you're waiting on, it discontinues that. So I automatically lost that, and I had to pay 3 months, a third of my pay as a punishment for supposedly abusing my son. But I appealed the decision. Now check this out. Now I already told y'all, when I was in my living room and my experience that I had, I was about to kill myself. The walls of life closed in on me because this whole year of experience that I was going through all this hell, trying to, losing my son, it just got the best of me. The enemy got the best of me. So here it goes. Waiting on the appeal. It took about 4 or 5 months for my appeal. I'm calling the judicial system in the military. Did y'all hear anything? Did the base commander come with a thing? Did the base commander come with a decision? Did y'all hear anything? Nope. Got so bad that they just said, "We'll call you. Stop calling us." It might have been about 5, 6 months. I don't know. It was a long time waiting. All I know though, this right here is that I saw the light in that living room, and I was just into this, open up this scripture thing, and I'm reading some stuff, and I'm seeing some stuff that I never saw before. But it connected me in a different way than maybe it might have connected with some people, because I was still a baby there in this belief thing. But I'm here to tell you this right here. After about 6 months, family, I get a call. I get a call from the what do they call it? The Judge Advocate's office. That's what it's called. And it's JAG is what they call, Judge Advocate Group is what it's called. Hey Sarge, we got your appeal decision in. Oh, for real? What is it? What is it? And they're like, you got to come down. What happened was I knew a sergeant that was down there, and he knew my story, and he told me he would look out for me. And so he said, once I hear word, I'll give you a call, let you know it's in, but you can't say nothing and all that right there because your commander's going to be the one who calls you in. So he said, he said, Sarge, we got your result, but you're going to have to come down and see your commander. And he said, the only thing I can tell you is you ain't gonna believe it. Now keep in mind, folks, during this whole time, I'm into this God. And I'm up here like, you know how when you want something, it's just like, Lord, please help me in this appeal. Please help me. I was falsely accused. I don't know why. I'm blah, blah, I go to my commander. Now because it was a whole year that I had to wait, the initial commander who gave me the punishment, he wound up PCSing. All right, that's a change of a station. It's permanent change of station. Meaning he got relocated to another base, and we had a new commander come in. So this new commander called me in, and he was the one who was going to share the appeal of the base commander, because the base commander looked at my case and then wind up making a decision on appeal. I go see my new commander, and he's going to let me know what the deal of this appeal I put in. Now, if I win this appeal, I get my stripe back and repaid back the money they took from me, the third of my check, for 3 months. Walk into the new commander's office, stand before him, standing at attention. Sir, sergeant reports is ordered. At ease, sergeant. He says, I'm new commander here. I'm not sure all what transpired with your case. Your case has come back. And Sarge, you are a very lucky man. I've looked over your case, and I don't know From what read, there's a white commander. I don't know who to believe, what to believe, but you are a lucky man. And I'm like, okay, I'm lucky, I'm lucky. He said, your case was thrown out. I'm like, huh? He said, your case was thrown out because of legality issues. He said, here's the interesting thing. The commander, your previous commander, the one this commander took his spot, of course not. It wasn't luck. I knew Giselle, you right. I knew it wasn't luck. I knew, hey, I gave all praise to God, Allah, the Most High. Look, he said, I've never seen this in my career, and I don't even know how this was overlooked. But the commander who gave you the punishment, they never swore him in as a commander. And by him giving you a punishment, he had no authority to give you the punishment. And so they had to throw out your case. And I'm like, standing there looking like, you know, when you get a new word and you're like, what? And I sat there and I just smiled. And I'm in a maze. And I was like, there is a God. How is it? Now, get this. Here's the amazing thing. Him being a commander, he was a commander for 3 years. All the paperwork he signed, all the different punishments of other people, all the decisions he's made are void. I know they didn't go track through all that right there. I know they didn't. And I'm thinking, I don't need to care about that. All I need to care about is me. As some are saying in the chat, hallelujah, hallelujah. That was just another stepping stone of my faith in the Almighty, knowing there could not be nothing but the Almighty for them to recognize who was searching through the paperwork to see that was he sworn in or not. The Almighty put it on somebody's heart to go search, to check out the legality parts. But this is what the judicial system have done to me. Oh, I've been in the judicial system before that. Falsely accused white guys, you know, I had to serve time in jail. It was me, my brother, and a couple other friends. Actually, it was Hispanic guys, but, you know, I think they were Latinos or something. White cops take their side of the story and arrested us. I got so many stories, family. But I share this story because I want y'all to understand. Sweet Juicy Mama did a video and shared why she hate white people, what they did to her and Rick, how they turned their life upside down, how they threw Rick in jail. I don't know all their story. I don't know if it's true or not, but I know this right here. I got the same story when they took my son from me. I know that. So I'm amening Sweet Juicy Mama's story. And Rick. Shout outs to my brothers and sisters that I've met while I've been in Africa 3 years ago when I went to Ghana, and they left America in the 70s and 80s, and listening to their pain of how America beat them so bad, they had to get away. And to see the smiles on their faces, and they're just like, they're just so happy, and just to hear what they had to go through. Shout out to them. Shout out to my man David Jaro, who he said he felt like he was nothing in America in the late 70s, that he just could not get over the humps of trying to make it. He had did everything possible in getting his degrees and getting jobs and getting fired from jobs and jealous white men and stuff like that. He said, I had to get out, brother. I had to get out. And he went to Africa. Shout out to Dawoodi, another brother who's in his 60s, who left America, who said he took all the pain and the brunt and all the issues that made him feel like he was less than nothing. And he said he had to get out there so he could feel like a man. Shout out to Dawoodi. Shout out to my brother Rufus, who passed away, and I had a great opportunity to meet him. He was up in a temple coup. He was a pillar. He died at 95 years old, died before they were about to give him his citizenship. But they gave acknowledgement to him. The president did when he issued out citizenships to 200-something brothers and sisters year before last, to the brothers and sisters from America, that President Akufo-Addo gave the citizenships, and he recognized Brother Rufus, and I had an opportunity to meet that brother, who was 90-some years old. He shared me with his story why he got the hell out of America. Shout out to him. Shout out to my sister Imacus, who Mother Africa is what they call her. She's over in Rwanda right now, who left 35 years ago, her and her husband. She stood by her husband and walked it out with her husband, coming to Africa and never looked back. And she's a pillar, and she will tell you why she left America, for all the hell our brothers and sisters had to go through. Shout out to her. Shout out to Maple's Table right there in Elmina with all the brothers and sisters from America, older brothers and sisters there. Brother Bishop and all the other ones out there. Shout out to you all who's holding it down, who left America 20 and 30 years ago and is there to reach a hand out to us and welcome us when we come there, and y'all embrace us and we sit around the table, around Maple's Table, and just have conversations. Shout out to those brothers and sisters holding it down as we come in, and y'all just give us a great big hug and just welcome us with love. These are pillars that's in the African been for years, who got the hell out of America. Shout out to One Africa next door to Maple's Table, where Mama Africa, Imacus, who was there to start all that stuff there, who has her family and them running that place right there. The beautiful thing, check my videos out. The beautiful resort she has right there. For the brothers and sisters, Brother Kwame, who was there. Shout out to you, Brother Kwame. To our brother over there, her other family member, it'll come to me. I'm a little excited, family. It's a shout out to our brothers and sisters. These are our forerunners. These are the pillars who had left America. They're the ones who, my brother David, who sit there and said he had went through Liberia. And when the war started off Liberia, they came over to Ghana. These are the forerunners. These are the people. Shabazz, exactly. Brother Shabazz. Thank you very much. Who said that? Cigar, yes. Shout out to Brother Shabazz over there. There's many more over there. These are the people who are there waiting for us to come. And every time you go, they be like, welcome home, brother. Good. Are you staying or are you going back to Babylon? It's a beautiful thing. There are people who have gone through what I've gone through, like Rick and Sweet Juice and Mama. And you got to understand that there are those people out there who don't understand until you walk in the shoes of the hate and the pain that we had to go through. That's just one part of my story, what I had to deal with in America. Why I can't go back. We carrying scars, family. We are carrying scars, pains. And a lot of y'all are just too young enough to even know. And some of y'all have never even experienced it. Even some of those my age haven't experienced it. But what you don't understand is that the system, still you are in a system that you will never be able to equate to them. You will never be able to know at the end of your days, did I reach my full potential? Or was it because of the obstacles in my path that kept keeping me back? Because yeah, you may make your 100, 2, 3, 4, 5, 12 million, $50 million. But you still a boy. You still a nigga. We give praise to the daggone basketball players, football players, and the actors and the singers and all that right there. And y'all don't even recognize they just nothing but slaves. Don't have no power. Making millions of dollars, what? That's crumbs to what the owners of them teams, billionaires are. Crumbs. Pennies. And still a slave. You know why they're a slave? I'm going to tell you why they're a slave. Because they're still getting paid by them. That's why you see our brothers and sisters always apologizing when they come out of their mouth and say something. Shame on you, Snoop Doggy Dogg, when you said what you said about daggone Gail and how she shamed in her interview about Kobe Bryant, and you called her out how she was acting, and you came back and apologized. Why? Because your sponsors was taking money out of your hands. Shame on you, Nick, because you came back and apologized when you was telling the facts on daggone what's going on in this community and how the white people are, and you came back and you apologized because your sponsors was going to shut you down, and you knew that you didn't want to even go through that. All these daggone people up here, they want to talk that smack and then come back and apologize. I ain't got to apologize for nothing because you know why? I don't work for nobody. I'm my own man. These jokers who got these millionaires and these want to be spokespeople and all that right there and talk all that crap, and they come back and they apologize. I want to apologize because I was wrong in saying that. I misspoke and I this and that. No, you Uncle Tom, you daggone got the pressures on your ass and they about to rip that carpet underneath from you. And so you rather stay your ass over in America and still get your ass treated like a nigga and then act like that you strong. You ain't strong, you a boy. It takes a man to get the hell out of a goddamn bad situation and make way for his family. That's a man. That's why I'm a man, not your boy. I love my wife, y'all. I love my kids. Even them can't stop me from going to find my peace. I'd be damned. A woman wrote me a letter, an email. How can you as a man just let your wife and your kids be over there unprotected and all that right there? Look, let me tell you something. Men, see, let me say something to you sisters out there. See, when you know you got a man, when he do what he's supposed to do for his family, a man don't follow a woman. A woman knows when she got a man and he do whatever it does to take whatever, she follows the man. The man don't follow the woman. See, some sisters can't handle what I'm just saying. Some sisters can't handle that. Because the key word is man. No, you shouldn't follow some boy. A lot of these jokers out here are boys. I wouldn't follow a joker if he couldn't hold up his own damn pants either. But when you got a man who say, move out the way, baby. No, this is I got this. My wife makes 3 times as much as I've made. But you know what? I had more. And when we got married, I told her this right here. Look, you could quit that because I got this. And how I set up when we got married, okay? When we got married, I told my wife this right here. Look, your money don't pay none of the bills. My money do. That you bring in is just butter. So you don't get it twisted that I ain't doing my part. My money is taking care of our whole lifestyle. Yours is the butter. So don't get it twisted. Oh, she knew it because my wife is a lady. She's a woman. She understands some things. But she doesn't understand this, y'all. She don't understand this. And that's why she went back to America. And I understand because she don't know what I went through. She don't know. She ain't seen my pain. Sweet Juicy Mama saw Rick's pain. She'd been with Rick for many a years. She's seen what that judicial system and the white American system have done against her husband. She's seen how he was trying to do right and what he's trying to build, his vision. All the jobs he was working, he's been fired and all that right there. And then you got people who don't even understand that, who want to put up Rick was arrested because he got caught stealing. I'm going to tell y'all right now, let it be known. If it gets to a place where my kids' bellies are hungry, Lord, by any means necessary, because you said you don't see your children begging for bread, and if it's the means of you supplying my needs by I have to go and get from a system that's already taken from me already, well, so be it. So be it. Thank you for y'all who are giving. I just want to stay on this roll right here because it's in me right now. And so my wife, we've been married 5 years. She don't understand the pain. My wife should be right here with me. She should be, without a shadow of doubt in my eyesight. But she feels a certain way as far as, and I say feel, but she feels that she got has an obligation that she needs to take care of and all that right there. By all means, go do it. But it's not going to make me go. I'm not going to follow you back over into the hellhole. If that's where you want to go, go. Because brothers found a peace that I lay and I sleep well at night. I get up and I smile when I walk down these streets. Every day, y'all, when I'm walking down these streets and I see brothers and sisters around me, thank you very much for your giving. When I see it, it just blows my mind. And it brings this smile on me and say, 54 years being in a white society of about 76%. And seeing and dealing with these jokers all these years. And I can just sit here and I'm having beautiful conversation with brothers and sisters. I'm seeing us out here doing this thing. We're running it. Every time I look at the dollar bill, their bills, their bills, it's our face, the billboards. It's everywhere I turn, I see us. I'm looking and I'm like, wow. When I see the brothers who've come and sisters who came before me and they're at a place of peace and they're doing a business and they're smiling and they're like, welcome to see you again, brother. I'm so happy to see that you made it back here out of America. Are you coming to stay or are you going back? I got a place for you to stay. I got a place for you to lay your head, whatever you need. This is why I'm here. That's why I told him I can't go back. I can't. How can you find a treasure and turn around and give it up to go back to something else? When I know my history, when I know my daggone issues in that court system, when I know that the end of my military career, a white joker did one mark down on my evaluation report and kept me, it stopped me from getting E8 at that moment in time, which was my goal at 20 years. Now, I could have went on and did extra years and got my E8 rank, but I always knew I was only going to do 20. I got many a story from the time I was in the fourth grade, being chased by 5 white guys through the woods, the most terrifying time of my life, that they was trying to get me and do harm. And I ran so hard away from them white guys. I was one of the fortunate ones. There's many brothers and sisters who got caught up, got hung from the tree, who got burned on the stake, who got raped, who got taken from their families, who's been falsely accused, who are in prison to this day, who social services are coming into households, taking people's children. So the police officers coming into your house, shooting up your family members, knocking on wrong doors and blood blasting you away. And we totally continue to ignore it. Why? Because we became so numb. And the only thing we're doing is waiting for the right moment. And when it hits your family, you're going to be behind a podium trying to tell black people, calm down, stop looting, stop protesting. Can't we all get along? Because they're going to offer you some bullshit money. But then while you got the white people who can march up in mother-sucking Washington, D.C. and take over a Capitol building, that's a shit in y'all's face. The black people's face. That's a shit on us. Let that been us. It would have been bullets blasting all daggone day. But we take it. Ain't nothing wrong with America. I'm doing just fine. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't have no problems. See, it's because you're stuck in the eye. Me, my eye. Why? Because you're not part of our culture. You've become so American, you became white-minded. Your blackness has been whitewashed away. You forgot who you are. Because see, you have put yourself on their measuring stick, that you thinking that you're achieving and becoming successful because that's what they created. I got my degree. I've done well for myself. I don't know what's up with the rest of those niggers out there, you know, but I've turned out pretty good. This is what we do and say. Them same niggas up there who we praise as the millionaires and we watch and paying their salaries, football and basketball and the singers and the actors, who's working for the man and then tell you to be quiet, be peaceful, apologize when you speak your mind and tell the truth. Shame on you. Shame. I'm not running anywhere. My family built this country. Do you think brick and mortar of building a country is really important? We didn't build the system, y'all. That's what makes America what it is. It's the system. We didn't write the Constitution. We didn't write the laws. We didn't write the policies and the ways of how America is operated. For you to call yourself an American is saying you subscribe to the ideologies of how America is. That is for you now to say that you then defend and represent the ways of how it operates. America is not a flag, it's a system. And the black man has no place in the system. He is not recognized. Our brothers and sisters got locked up in prison. Bill Cosby, look. Hey, he thought he was just like, he thought he was above. Oh, nah, you still a nigga in their eyesight. Yeah. So many names, so many people who have been taken out by the system. This beast, as the Bible says, the great whore, the harlot. This is what other countries are trying to follow and emulate, trying to pattern off of. And then we watch us as a people killing each other. Our children turn into homosexualities. Our children are losing, we as a people have lost morality, values. Our spiritualities are decrepit because we're in a European system. And yet we continue to say, I don't know what you're talking about. Try walking in these. Because it's more than just people going to Africa. These are people who have been dealt a bad hand, who's been maliciously wronged, who our ancestors, that we keep talking about ancestors and family members, your grandmama, granddaddies, and great-greats, you just don't understand what they've gone through. And to support a country who have done ill will, and Obama, who couldn't even come out of his freaking mouth and apologize for what America did to a black people. He could have done that and didn't. Why? He was raised by a white woman. His mentality, his spirit, she poured everything into him. She wasn't Pan-African. She just wanted to hook up with a black man like most of the white women do from Europe. Oh, but he married Michelle. He likes black. Do you think he would have became a senator or even made a presidency had he married a white woman? No. You see, we have to understand there are people who do things for the sake of their careers or to look good in the public eye. So all I'm saying is this white system, how has it destroyed you? Because covertly, you may not be affected personally. But there again, when I hear people say, oh, Oprah Winfrey, she's a billionaire, and Tyler Perry is a multi-millionaire. They're doing great things, land of the opportunity. Yes, you do. America do. No, 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 no. Oprah should be, if she was in Africa, she'd be trillions of dollars. Tyler would be billions of dollars. You should be making millions of dollars. Because they don't see the color of a skin here. All they see is opportunity. And so family, this is my story. What's your story? I'm gonna do a streamline, and I want to hear from you all. I want those to be able to share how America has tried to destroy you. It almost got me, family. It almost got me. It almost got me to take my life. They almost got me, but you know what? The Almighty, in that living room, and the only thing I had left was to cry and fell down. And when that presence hit me, I'm telling you, it ain't never been the same. That's why I know about a peace of mind and a peace of heart. Because when you get it, you can't go back. There's no way I would go back in the lifestyle I was living because I know the peace that I live in now. That's why I can't go back to America, because the peace I live in now. I don't know what other way to say it. Look, peace out. Shout out to my brothers and sisters out there who knew that the peace was so great that it even got in the middle of their marriage. I know people who's divorced because the loved ones just did not want to come over to follow their loved ones. I've met a couple of handfuls of people like that. When you find peace, ain't nothing getting in the way of it. Not your husband, not your wife, not your children. Nothing's going to get away. Once you get peace, there's no way you can go back. There is no way you can go back. I like how Rick says this right here. I'd rather go through the hard times what I'm going through here, dealing with trying to build my kingdom, than to go back to America and deal with what I had to go through. That's real. That's me. I like how JT said, I'd rather die in Africa. He said, I'd rather die in Africa than to go back to that damn America dealing with what I had to deal with first. And that's me. Because some of y'all don't understand what peace is until you get it. You think you're in peace. You don't know really how something is until you explore into something else different. Once you try something different, I laugh at my wife because I love my wife. When she finds something good, she sticks with it. She like, I ain't getting off this path because I know this is good. I like this. But every now and then when I convince her, like, babe, try this right here. No, I don't. Just try this right here. Oh, and then all of a sudden now she's into it. See? All these years you have ignored or did not explore different things. And you missed out. How, missing out on traveling the world to see. Let me just go out here and travel and visit some different places. Because dang, being in America all these years and that's all you know, hey, you might stumble across something that you might find wow. The first thing I told people when I was meeting them in Africa, when I went to Ghana 4 years ago, and I told the brothers and sisters when we were in a group and everything, and I said this right here. Why didn't y'all send us the memo to let us know that y'all were here? I never knew nothing about y'all here. They was like, hey, message has been around. Where have you been? Now that the social media's here and I have a platform and other people have platforms and we're sitting here telling y'all, just come to experience. I'm not one to push that you gotta live here in Africa only. Look, this is a great big world. I've met brothers and sisters who live in other countries who said they ain't leaving to go back to America and they stand in these other countries. Why? Because they know what they went through in America. And for you brothers out here, if you've never felt like you've been appreciated as a black man and you feel like you've always been second, on your jobs, you was always the mouthpiece for somebody else, and you've watched your ideas promote other people. I'm gonna speak to sisters too. And you know your hard work. You know, we always had to tell our kids, you better make sure you get to work there before they do, and you better make sure you leave after. See, why do we have to do that? What's the message we tell our kids? You better work twice as hard as they do. What? So you're telling your kids it's all right to be in a country that you got to work twice as hard as they do. Is that fair to your kids? But man, to the men, that all the energy you get and you see that they take your ideas, you presenting your ideas to your supervisors and to the managers, and they take the ideas and you're watching them get promoted off your ideas. Think about going back to Africa. Women, if you know that you are in a tough situation with your job, that all the grind you've put in, or put the grind in your family, and I'm gonna talk to married folks too, and the streets are stealing your kids, and you're watching your kids go down the road of this bull crap that they have on TVs and the radios and all that right there, and you're trying to fight to save your children from the streets. Go back to Africa. If you know that your worth is more than what they're paying you, and you rather go ahead and do your own thing, but the cost is too great in America, and the red tape and all the bureaucracy that you have to go to even try to even establish a business that maybe you want, go back to Africa. If you know it pains you to see us being slaughtered, misused, abused, raped, robbed, pillaged from a society that you know has not got any better, go back to Africa. To my elders, you know you've done the marches, you sung the Kumbaya songs, you sung We Shall Overcome a million times, and you know that there has not been any change. Go back to Africa. The youth, teenagers, those in the 20s and 30s. If you've been working and you seem like you're trying to how they say what is it, make $1 out of 15 cents or something like that? How they say that? You know, and you just seem like you just can't get nowhere. And you know you're full of creativity and you're not getting the respect. You're not getting, an opportunity. You know that you got so much to give and you're underappreciated. Go back to Africa. This is real, family. This is real. And I'm not trying to push fear on people. I'm not trying to make it seem like, I'm not trying to bang on you and yours and your decisions that you make. All I am, and like I said, is a only a voice in the wind, being a conduit for the Most High to share with His people. I have given you a land of milk and honey, and they have come into the land of milk and honey and ran some of you all out, y'all Africans who are running to these European countries. You run into the white man's countries, and I understand that you want to try to make more money and then try to sin. But I'm gonna tell you right here, when I talk to these people who are so abased or so, that are humble, these people who don't look at money like that, they have their families intact, they have their mind and their peace together. Go ahead and chase the money. Go ahead. But for those right there who know that you have done everything for your family, but you're looking at your children, you're like, how can I position my children to have a fair shot at least? Just a fair shot. Go back to Africa or any other country. Or any other country. Because there's a lot of countries that respect us as black people. There is some countries that, hey, like I said before, go check out my man's channel, Experiencing Japan or something like that, Experiencing Japan. He's a brother that interviews all the brothers and sisters in Asia. And so many of them are over there. So many of us are over there. And they swear they're not coming back. They say that they're respected on the jobs. They have a sense of dignity, a sense of pride. They're not encountering the various different prejudices and biases that they have encountered in America. So when I say go back to Africa, go black. We are African, black first, foremost, and African. We have to go black to that place to find our identity, because you see it. You hear it. People saying they ain't even African no more. I'm not African. Like, it's a shameful thing. I don't want to be, I'm not black. I'm American, and I'm proud to be American. Well, go ahead and have your pride. But as soon as that moment you have labeled yourself such is what you subscribe to, and you have agreed that's how you are when America behaves and represents what it's doing. Black Experience Japan. Thank you, Greenface Man. That's exactly it. Check out that site there, so you can listen to the brothers and sisters who are over there, who's getting much respect. There ain't no perfect country. There ain't none. But I do know this right here. There are some that are better than others. I do know that. Yeah. And so I'm giving a shout out again to Sweet Juicy Mama, who motivated me to tell my story of how America almost destroyed me. And I gained a greater appreciation for her and Rick and their family. I understand now. I understand now. I understand now why a person will hate. I had to move on beyond hate. I don't hate white people now. I just know them. When you know something and you understand it, it removes the hate. So now I know how to deal with them. That's why I cringe every time I see them, when I see the Africans and I try to explain to them, like, yo, you got to understand something. A behavior in a people who's forcing their way in to try to create a system will leave you out of the picture if you're not careful to deal with them at the moment of time they're trying to befriend you. I see it time and time again over my life. So I already know. So I understand why Sweet Juicy Mama love her some Rick, and Rick love him some Sweet Juicy Mama. The best couple out there on YouTube who is showing a black woman supporting her black man and a black man supporting his black woman and family. And all the adversity, all the all the ups and downs that they go through, they don't give up. They don't give up. And all the other brothers and sisters out there who's trying to share the message that our YouTube channel, who was on the YouTubes, props, shout out to you all. Much love to each and every one of you all. And the people who are watching this channel right here, I thank each and every one of you all for your kind words. I thank each and every one of you all for just your support. Giving up just your hard-working money. That right there is just can't say more than enough. Because I know when it comes to men, it's hard for us to give up something that we work so hard for. Number two, for those who spend their time just watching the things that I'm sharing with y'all, I appreciate that. It's hard to give up your time when you have other obligations and responsibilities, and you will stop and say, let me see what Go Black is doing. Let me see his experience. Let me see where he's going. Let me see who's interviewed. Let me just see. You know, he is showing and enlightening and educating and bringing awareness to me. I like that guy there. Thank you. Thank you for those who are sharing the videos with other people to bring awareness to our people. Thank you for those who gives the thumbs ups. But even better, if you leave the thumbs down, please share. So I'm thankful for all things, family. I've been on here 2 hours, and I want to wish each and you all a good night. Yeah. Okay, let me ask a couple questions. Yes, JT gonna be out here. He said he's gonna be out here at Nairobi, hopefully here shortly. And yes, we are going to link up, definitely. Would love to meet my brother because he's holding it down there on the west at Burkina Faso. And now he's stretching out his wings over here on the east of Africa. Yeah, brother doing some positive things. We're going to definitely link up. And I can learn. I've been learning some things from him too. He got some business mind stuff, mindsets that, you know, that I don't even think about. You know, and you can always learn from anybody. Yeah, okay. Well, you know, family, with all that, I wish you all a good evening, a good day, a good afternoon, a good morning, wherever you may be. Thank you for listening. I appreciate each and every one of you all. My hat's off. May the Most High bless you in your endeavors, in your family, and all that you do. And y'all take care. I'll talk with y'all later.